the apple of my eye, saith the Lord, and I will keep you and I will hold you. Have I not started with you?
Family Life with Mama Rita. Last week we did Ask Mama Rita. Oh my God. When we were done, we realized that the questions left were something else. We still have a lot of questions to handle. I don't know if we'll be able to finish today. We'll see how it goes, then we know what we are doing next week. For some time now, we've been handling divorce, the negatives or the side effects of divorce on the children, even when they grow up, on their marriage and all that. And today we want to do Ask Mama Rita, answer all the questions that came up last week, last 2 weeks, and then last 3 weeks. We still haven't finished answering some of the questions from last 2 weeks. So I don't know how we can finish today, but we'll see how it goes. But I hope you are taking very good care of yourselves. I drive around town and oh my God, people are living like nothing is happening. People are living like COVID is gone. My darling, COVID-19 is not gone. Let's continue to wash our hands. Let's continue to use our sanitizers. Let's continue to do social distancing. And let's continue to wear our masks. I am pleading with you. People are dying out of COVID. And we don't want any more casualties. Please take good care of yourself. With me in the studio today, oh my God, Reverend Patrick Yosin. Reverend Patrick Yosin is not a stranger to our studio. Today he left his wife. Why he left his wife, I don't know. And because he's left his wife, he will answer all the questions, both from the feminine side and the masculine side. Today I make him like God.
Amen.
He, she.
I receive it.
He would answer all. Reverend Patrick Yosin, welcome.
Thank you, Mommy.
We heard your story.
Yes.
Is it 3 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, we heard your story. How you don't even remember when they divorced. But no. By the time you grew up, you realized that your parents were already divorced. Yes. And you had to be living with aunties and uncles. Yes. And at one point, you became like a houseboy. Yes. You lost your confidence. Even when it was time to get married, you almost were going to delay because of some of the things you went through. And we've realized that divorce is not the best.
No, no.
2 weeks ago, Mami Dokru said something. If it is not life-threatening, don't divorce.
That's right.
Before we go into the ask questions, maybe you want to summarize some of the things you said 3 weeks ago.
Okay. What
you went through as a child, and because of it, you won't want other child to go through the same.
Yes. To start with, I say that every child is loved by the parent, the mother, and every child has the confidence of walking up to the parent or the mother to share fears and concerns and receive guidance and encouragement and therefore build up the child's confidence. The fact that things that are fearful to the child is no longer fearful. If you do not live with your parents, more often than not, you are shushed, and so you are unable to resolve issues that normally you would resolve growing up, and you grow up with some of these things. And so you don't grow up in a quote-unquote home kind of setting.
That's right.
You grow up all by yourself, and things that are mistakes, you grow up with them. If you were with your mom, she probably would have corrected those things. So you grow up with some of these weaknesses. And there are many people that we are aware of in our society who are adults, but sometimes have childhood traits that are not very positive. More often than not, it is as a result of growing up away from their home setting. Divorce certainly sets the tone for people to grow up into incomplete adults or immature adults.
I like that. Incomplete adults.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never thought about that.
That's right. Yeah. So if you walk away from your marriage because of small issues, you are just setting up your children to face unnecessary challenges. Challenges that could have been avoided had they grown up in the home with both father and mother around, receiving the guidance that is available. So as much as possible, seek guidance, seek counsel, pray, and
seek
God,
counseling,
that's
and
right,
then pray,
and God will sustain you. God will sustain you through the marriage. Yeah, I listened to last week's version, and Reverend Minister Fabio was, expounding on some of the challenges of life out in a divorce situation, and so as much as possible, seek the face of God, obtain guidance, and you will surely survive. Amen.
So, my darling, we are not just saying something. This is coming from somebody who went through, I wouldn't say went through divorce, but went through divorce as a child. In other words, his parents divorced. And he's come telling us his experiences, what he went through. And Reverend Patrick, there's something I've noticed. Everybody's child doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
We try to tolerate our children.
Correct.
It doesn't matter who your child is and what they do. You know that this is what God has given to you. Right. So you try to tolerate it, you try to correct it. But when it comes to somebody else's child,
there's no tolerance at all. And there's no room for...
There's no room.
In my first job, I was an adult. My first job, my boss said to me, mistakes are the only way by which you learn.
I like that.
And so if you
don't
make
be afraid
a mistake,
to make mistakes.
Bring it up, and I will show you what you did wrong and how to resolve it.
Wow.
If you are a child and the parent you live with is unable to tolerate the mistakes that you make, every time you make a mistake, you hide it. And therefore, you don't get the training or the correction that will help you to come out of that. So if you grow up at home, like I said the last time I was on the set, everything that you do, your mom will react to it with a pound of love. I told the story of how my mom punished me, but first of all showed me love before the punishment. And so you receive a proper correction and therefore get the proper effect. Outside of that, you just get beaten. And a lot of times what happens to children like that is they become immune to the beating. I know that if I do the wrong thing, I'll only be beaten
anyway.
So they just go ahead and do it. And
some of them become very timid. Some of them would become habitual liars. Habitual thieves. Because after they are given their food, they don't have the right to say, I wasn't full. I want more. Whereas when you are with mommy and daddy, you know.
You can say that. You can confidently say, Mommy, can I have some more? And Mommy will tell you why you can have more or why you cannot have more. But in other situations, you probably get scolded for daring to ask for more. So,
you heard Reverend Patrick Yorson. We'll be going straight away to our co-hosts, Pastor Chief Ape, and then we do Ask Mama Rita.
Thank you, Mommy. We have lots of comments coming in. You're looking splendid.
I love your shirt.
Awesome. Thank you, Mommy.
Ooh, you look sharp.
Yes.
And the African print.
Sharp. My wife chose this one for me.
Hey!
As a matter of fact, it is part of the materials I presented as at the engagement.
Oh, Sawara. So you are wearing your own.
She gave me this one to wear. Just for Family Life series.
Just for Family Life series.
God bless you. Love you, babe. All right, Mommy. We have a lot of interesting questions coming through.
Wow.
Please send your questions, your comments to us. +2332005152553 across the globe, and we are going to attend to your comments in this session and subsequent sessions on Facebook. We are on Sam Crunchy Ankara on YouTube. We are on Powerline TV, and on your digital stations also you can get us Powerline TV across the continent of Africa and across the globe. We'll go straight. And Mommy, this is an interesting one. A chief superintendent of the Ghana Police Service at Bolga, and we have his permission to mention his name, Opuneni Ejay.
Wow.
He sent a voice note, transcribed it, and says we should read it out.
Wow.
On the topic of divorce.
Wow. Wow.
And he says, one thing I always tell my new police recruits, especially the women, is don't agree to divorce. And also to
and this is from a man's angle.
This is from a man's angle.
Wow.
Chief Superintendent of the Ghana Police.
Wow.
And also to the men, never divorce your wives under any circumstances. Because whenever there is divorce, you eventually regret in future. Then he continues, listening to the story of Mami Dokuno made me very sad. And one thing I realized is her former husband also felt devastated. And they both eventually regretted going through this divorce. So, he concludes, I plead with everyone listening to this program, work out your differences. Follow the teachings of Mama Rita and try never to go through a divorce.
Wow.
Chief Superintendent, Ghana Police Service in Bolga, Opuneni Ejay.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chief Superintendent. Thank you so much. You don't know what this one means to me. Coming from a person like you, speaks volumes. Sometimes when we talk about divorce and not to divorce, people think that, she doesn't know what I'm going through. He doesn't know what I'm going through. But coming from a person like you, my God, thank you so much, and God bless you. We really do appreciate you.
God bless you, sir. And we appreciate that voice note. We'll be glad you contact us. We'll want to have a word with you after this program. We'll go straight to our first question. He says, Mommy, I got into a relationship with a Muslim guy. We got a child out of it, but my father never approved, and we went on to have lots of issues. He sleeps around. We've had many police issues to deal with, so I had to leave since we were not actually married. 9 years after, I got into another relationship, and we have a child too. Sadly, he started misbehaving. His mother has strongly said she's not going to allow him to marry me. I'm totally confused. Please help me. What do I do?
Reverend Patrick, this is our situation.
Yes. So it's not clear if the first relationship is related to the second one. The message I'm getting is that in the first case, it didn't work out. The gentleman was Muslim, and
so they had a child.
They had a child. It didn't work out, and then she moved on
goes into another one,
and moved on into a second relationship, and it's still not working out.
In both cases, she has a child.
Yeah, and the mother of this new gentleman opposes the relationship with we don't know why the mother of this new gentleman opposes the relationship. The question still remains, what is the relationship between yourself and your gentleman? Is your gentleman supportive of you, or she's listening to what her mom is saying? Is she in love with you? Is she willing to go ahead and marry you despite her mom's opposition, or she's also listening to her mom's
I
opposition?
think it's the man. It's the man's mom who is not agreeing.
That's right. So the man's mom does not agree.
Yeah.
Question is, the man himself,
Yeah.
does he want to go ahead with you? Because at this age in his life, if you had a child, assuming you were 20 years old, and 9 years ago you are 29, I'm assuming the gentleman is 30, 31, thereabout. He's a full-grown man. And I'm not sure it's his mom who makes decisions for him. However, outside of that, it could also be that there may be some traits you have exhibited for which reason this mother who is concerned about the well-being of his son is saying that I cannot allow my son to walk down the life of eternity with you. We are not sure of what the circumstances are for which reason her mom is opposing it. But I am sure that if your man loves you and you are the woman that he really wants to marry, he should be able to stand with you and work this out. This is what I think, Mommy.
Well, the first one didn't work out. We can't cry over spilled milk. I mean, it's already gone. But with the second one, I believe we can do something about it.
Okay.
Like Reverend Patrick Yorson is saying, yes, the mom is saying he doesn't want the relationship. Yeah. He doesn't want you to be married to his son. But what is he saying? If he loves you, he will stand by you. I know some men can't oppose their mothers, but at least there's something that can be done. Number one, both of you can pray. I believe that if both of you hold your hands in agreement to pray, the Lord will change the mind of the mom. Number two, if the man loves you and wants to marry you, you can go through somebody his mom respects. It can be her pastor or a very elderly person close to him to talk to him. But otherwise, also check yourself. Is there anything, any habit you are exhibiting such that, you know, his mom has seen and he has seen and can't defend you before his mom? But I believe that all is not lost. If you add a lot of prayer to it, the man will come back, or God will bring you somebody else who will love you for who you are and doesn't mind you have born one and born two. If you haven't started going to church, start going to church. If you're already in church, get committed to the things of God, and then be very prayerful. And I believe God will smile at you one of these days.
Awesome. Well, this is Family Life series on Powerline TV with Mama Rita and her seasoned counselors. What we do here is building stable and happy homes. Mommy, this question says, actually a comment. Good evening, Mommy. I've been married for only a year, and I had been wishing I had moved out of the marriage already. But this evening, I have learned a lot to deal with patience, having listened to the story of Mami Dokuno. God bless you for this program.
Thank you so much. So I hope you heard her very well. We're on YouTube. We're on some Crunchy Ankra Facebook. You can always go back and then play it. I believe that even after now, you still be hearing voices that, oh, I wish I can come out. As you listen to it over and over again, you'll be very, very convinced. And trust me, there's nothing that is not workable. It doesn't matter the issues you are having in your relationship, you can work through it. And tomorrow, you'd also be here sharing your experiences and your stories and telling people you were on the verge of divorcing. You had me and had Mami Dokuno. You changed your mind, you prayed through it, you worked through your relationship, and today you are happy. I wish you the best.
We wish you the very best. This one says, good evening, Mama Rita.
Good evening.
God bless you for this wonderful program.
God bless
Please,
you too.
I am Gina from Kumasi.
Okay.
I have been with my husband for 14 years. I knew him at the age of 19 years. We got married in 2011. Mommy, I have really suffered with him. I've shared his pain with him, heartbreaks, sorrows. He got sick at the point of getting mad. I risked my life for him, fasted and prayed many days and weeks. And just this year, July, he actually had an accident and got admitted at a government hospital, and he suffered mentally. I had a new baby then. I had to give my baby to my sister to take care of so I can have enough time to care for my husband in the hospital. I actually had to stop breastfeeding the baby for his sake.
Wow.
Mommy, by God's grace, through prayer, fasting, caring for him, he got discharged. On his discharge, I even had to borrow money for drugs almost every month. Now that he's perfectly okay, he has started following women. At one point, he was insulting me to one of the ladies, and his phone was on record. He didn't know. When I heard this, I nearly took my life. He just doesn't appreciate me. He doesn't respect me. He sometimes says very hurtful words directly to me. I have tried and almost given up on my marriage. A pastor advised me, and listening to Mami Dokno, I feel there could be some hope. Please give me some words of encouragement.
Wow.
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 A very long one.
Wow. Reverend Patrick.
I feel your pain, my sister. And the Bible says that the Spirit of God is our comforter. I pray for you. May the Spirit of God comfort you. May the Spirit of God open your eyes to see the words of comfort that comes from the Word of God.
That's right.
May you be encouraged as you look into His Word. I say that there is no comfort anywhere except from the Word of God. And you may have suffered, listening to your story, it's quite painful. But let me assure you that God is on your side.
I like that.
All the time, He's on our side. And if you have fought the battle till this point, please do not give up. Your husband is a human being, and human beings make mistakes. He is making this mistake without realizing it. You stood by him when he was physically sick, prayed, and supported him until he came out. I'm asking you, go one more step further. You still need to stand with him. Now he's out of the medical situation. You need to help him here one more time. I know that it's a big burden that I'm asking you to carry. Haven't carried this older burden. But please, do not give up now. Please, you've been with this gentleman for 14 years. You have fought these battles up to this point. Continue steadfastly in prayer, praying for him. Secondly, seek counsel. Is he in church with you? Can you get your pastors to speak with him, his pastor to speak with him, his mother, his elder brothers to speak with him, some people that he respects to speak with him, that he will appreciate the effort, the sacrifice, the pain that you have gone through, so that he will come around and at least show you some respect. Maybe he's been like that for a long time and it's difficult for him to change. But I would ask you again, do forgive him. And for the sake of longevity, for the sake of dwelling together in harmony, keep going, and I'm sure that God will see you through this. I'm sure Mommy has a lot more to say to this.
My darling, I feel your pain too, but don't give up. This is not the first time I've heard a story like that. I was handling a gentleman recently. They were going through premarital counseling. I've shared his story before, and he was sharing a story of his parents, his dad and the stepmom. He's the firstborn. The father didn't marry his mom. The father remarried, or the father married, had 2 children with the stepmom. Along the line, got involved with another woman, had 2 children with that woman, didn't marry
The second woman.
didn't marry the second one. This stepmom brought the first one, brought in 2 of the children the man had outside of the marital home.
Okay.
Then the man went ahead, had another set of children. After he's had the other set of children, decided that he was now going to marry the other woman too. So this woman, with tears in her eyes, went to see the pastor. I'm divorced and I can't take it anymore. I've done this, I've done that, just like you are saying. I took care of him when he was sick. I did this, I did that. The pastor said, you know what? Don't divorce. You've done so well. You brought in all the children together. And this is the stepchild telling me the story.
Right.
And saying that our stepmom really took care of us.
Wow.
If you came into the house, you won't know whose son is this, whose daughter is this. You would think that these are all
Her own children.
really took care of them. After the pastor spoke, she decided not to divorce. And the pastor said, I'm going to pray with you. The man will never be able to marry anybody else apart from you.
Wow.
True to the prayer, the man couldn't marry. Because of the woman, today, the man, the husband, is a pastor with Baptist Church.
Wow.
And is a marriage counselor.
Wow.
My darling, your miracle is around the corner. Don't give up. You've worked so hard. Don't leave for somebody else to come and enjoy your position. Stay in it. Fight for your marriage. Pray about it. And I believe that tomorrow you would also be sharing your testimony with us. Continue to pray. Stay steadfastly in the relationship. And I believe you will smile again.
Amen. Amen.
All right, we believe you are definitely going to smile again. Well, we have this one, Mommy.
I think after this one, we'll go for a commercial break.
Yes,
and then
Mommy.
we will come
Yes,
back.
Mommy. Wow, this is another loaded one as well.
Wow.
It says, good evening. I watched this program for the first time last week, and it's really a blessing. And I trust you'll be able to assist me with this. I am married for 16 years. We have 3 kids. Everything shows that my wife has a secret lover.
Oh my God.
Sadly, our kids have developed after her, telling lies, stealing, and watching inappropriate movies. My firstborn mommy has been dismissed from 2 international schools in 1 year.
Oh my God.
The secondborn has also been suspended from school, and the next move, he will also be dismissed. The thirdborn, who is 8 years, is already proposing relationship to guys in her school.
Wow.
With a letter and a love letter. When the secondborn was suspended, he came to confess when I quizzed him that mommy had been brainwashing them, that he is a very bad man. I got devastated and left the home for a few weeks so I can cool down the tension in the house. Within this period, I received a call that my wife has left the house with the kids, with a message that I may never see them again, or unless with a police escort. I am so tired, I don't even feel like fighting this. I believe God will speak. Please advise me.
This is a rather tough one.
Tough one,
yeah.
heartbreaking.
Yes. For your wife to just pack all the kids and send you a message that you may never see me again, that is heartbreaking. But I want to rewind the tape and ask what happened prior to all of these. Indication that when the challenges were there, you decided to go away for 3 weeks by itself. I am not sure of that. You know, my brother, the way to confront these issues, or the way to resolve these issues, is to embrace them and to take your time and analyze the whys. From my short experience in life, it is almost impossible or very difficult for women to have extramarital affairs unless the circumstances are such that they cannot help themselves. So this is not to judge you or to blame you, but based on the information or the experience that I have seen, it is not very common for women to do that. So maybe you are not spending enough time at home with the kids. You are not being a part of the family. It could be that your job situation is taking you out of the home, for which reason you have not been a part of building or bringing up the children. But we cannot put the blame squarely with the woman only. I think that there were some gaps, there were some missing duties, responsibilities, actions on your part, which has eventually brought us to this situation. But all is not lost. The situation can be salvaged. Our God is the God of redemption, redoing, resuscitation. He is the one who redoes, things that are out of sync. He is able to bring it back into sync. And so I am confident that if you approach your wife, maybe through her family, and say that, my dear, this is the situation that we have on our hands, and I take responsibility without asking questions, because you are the husband, and as the head of the home, whatever the situation is, take the responsibility to start with, and say that I am willing to work with you to have the issues resolved, to have our children back on track, to have our marriage restored in the order that God wants it to be. I am sure your wife will open up to that. And your pastor, the elders in your family, people that you respect in society can be of assistance to you in achieving this goal. My brother, just decide that maybe for 1 year, if you are working outside of home, you want to stay at home, stay in the same town, in the same village, and work with your wife on this. And God that we serve, at least the God I know in Royal House Chapel, will stand with you, support you, and you will succeed in this. Mommy.
I think from a man's point of view, you've answered it.
Okay.
You've really answered it. So if you are listening to us This is Reverend Patrick. It's not coming from his wife. It's not coming from me. It's coming from another man like you. We are not judging you, but we believe that something might have gone wrong. Maybe you were too busy with work. You were too busy. You never had time for the children and all that. All I would add to it is that for the sake of the children, reach out to your wife.
Yes.
Reach out through either her pastor or through her family members. I'm telling you, if you don't reach out to your wife, your children might be worse than what you see today. Reach out to her for the sake of your children. Spend time with them. Go through the issues one after the other. Don't blame your wife. Don't say it is your problem. Say it is our problem. And I am ready as the head of the family, to handle the issues. If it's something you can't handle all by your own, get a counselor, get your pastors to come in. And I believe that you will call us or you will send us a message and tell us it is working. Don't be too tired yet. Your children are still very young, and you can turn their lives around.
Amen.
By the love, by the attention, and then by the care. Thank you. We will go on a commercial break, and then we will come back and continue with Ask Mama Rita.
With the Apostle General Sam Crunchy Ankara, it is the annual festival of 21 days of prayer and fasting to kickstart the new year. The theme is There Not a Cause? 1 Samuel 17:29. It's happening from Monday 11th to Sunday 31st January 2021 at Royal House Chapel near Obechebilamte Interchange. The time is 5 p.m. on weeknights and on Sundays 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. This event on Powerline TV and all traditional online streaming platforms. It is Week of the Altar 2021. Do not miss this national gathering of intercessory prayer. Hooray! This Christmas and New Year will be your best despite COVID-19. The Apostle General begins a new series titled Is There Not a Cause? 1 Samuel 17:29. Make a date every Sunday in October, November and December at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. for this powerful series. Join us in person at Royal House Chapel, Obechebilamte Overpass, on radio, Hot FM and Fox FM, on Facebook at Sam Crunchy Ankara, YouTube at Powerline TV, and on your favorite Christian television station, Powerline TV. Royal House Chapel, touching our generation with the power of God.
Three challenges David dealt with. Goliath, devilishness. Not only was his height 6 cubits, all the arms that he gathered against Moses were also number 6. And then his shield weighed 600 shekels. Know that in Bible theology, anytime you see a shadow of 666, it's the shadow of the Antichrist, the very embodiment of the devil. At the sound of this voice, King Saul and his army would start running. They were running because they saw a giant, frightening face, tall, macho, well, physically armed, terrifying voice. That was what they were saying. But David was seeing another picture. He was seeing the picture of another bigger giant called Jehovah God. If you have not experienced the power of God, you tremble when men invoke their gods. The iron dome that you see there was wrapped in the future of some struggles and pain and some threatenings. Your future is wrapped up in your present circumstances. The situation that dares you is the situation you must confront.
Yes.
The situation that dares you is the situation that has the key to your future. When you quit and you run away, you have run away from your future.
Welcome back to Mama Rita on Family Life. Today we are doing Ask Mama Rita. And with me in the studio today is Reverend Patrick. Please continue to bring in your questions. If the questions are too many, we will continue next week. But until then, we'll see how it goes this week. I hope you are enjoying it so far and you are learning lessons out of it. We will move to my co-host,
Sharp.
Reverend Emmanuel Chifate.
Hey, I received a promotion.
Hey!
All right, thank you. Just like Mommy said, you're welcome. Powerline TV across all digital channels on YouTube, Powerline TV, on Facebook, Sam Crunchy Ankara. And well, you can send your comments coming through +233 200515253, and Mama Rita will be ready to assist you, helping build a stable and a happy home. Well, we move straight away to the next question. This one says, I'm messaging from Takrade.
Wow.
Mom, I'm in a relationship, but the relationship is no go well. Young man, you don't need relationship, eh? You need to mind your language. We'll find a way around. Mommy, we'll help you. I'm in a relationship, but the relationship isn't going well. I called this lady and she wouldn't respond. I have done as much as I can do, and yet I'm not getting enough feedback from her. At some point, we were planning marriage, but suddenly she wouldn't answer my calls again. She wouldn't respond to my WhatsApp messages anymore. I am confused. What should I do?
Who? Reverend Patrick. It looks like this is an easy answer. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure that, I do not know for a fact, but I suspect that the lady may have seen certain things
That's
you are
right.
doing,
That's
which is
right.
why she's backing out and she's unable to tell you directly.
That's
You know,
right.
so if it is possible, approach her, go to her house, or plan a date and bring up the issue of her non-response to your questions and messages, you know, so that you can trash out the challenges that she's having. More often than not, men say one thing and then women interpret it another way, or men give women a certain expectation and they do not fulfill it. And so if you have done that with her a couple of times, she begins to advise herself that now that we are not even married, this is what we are doing. When we get married, it's going to get worse. And so she decides to back off. But all is not lost, young man. Approach the woman, try to dig up the issues, and watch your ways. I am sure if you are transparent with her, you will break through.
So, gentlemen, I believe a woman will not just walk out of a relationship. I believe that there's something she's been talking about for so long, and yet there's no change. Certainly, she might have given you some clues. So, go back, find out, is there something she's been complaining all the time that she hasn't seen any change? If you still love her and you want her back, either go to her home, go through her parents, or go through her church, go through her pastor. I believe that if you're able to go through these people and you promise her, well, you need to know why she's walking out of the relationship. or why she's not picking up your calls and not replying to your messages. If you know what she's saying and it's something you can work around it, please do, and then get her back. If you go through her parents and you go through church and nothing is happening, maybe she's lost interest in the relationship. You would have to move on.
All right. Mommy, there's one aspect of the divorce discussion which has got to do with children in troubling homes, what they can do to salvage the situation. And I think this question may create a platform for us. He says, hello, Mommy. Good evening to you and your panel. The issue of divorce is causing a whole lot of problems. Sorry. My parents are still together, but I can boldly say that it is more than being divorced.
Wow.
We've grown up with both parents, and we have never seen them sitting together and chatting. It is always quarreling, raining insults on each other. This has actually made me very scared of getting married. And I fear I may go through the same thing. In fact, though I know I should be getting ready for marriage, I feel I am not because of what I've seen and felt with my parents. What can I do about this situation with my parents and with my fears?
Okay. It's interesting. I can answer
Very
this
interesting.
because if we look at what happens in our parents' home
Yeah.
and estimate that a similar thing is going to happen in our homes, then we are probably missing it. I'm sure that there are some mistakes that they have made. Learn from the mistakes and move on to pursue marriage, because marriage is God's own institution and he expects that it's a pleasant one for you and the partner that you will find.
That's right.
Whatever mistakes your parents have made or have been making, it's not the standard to go by. I am sure in your community there may be at least one or two other marriages that are beautiful, that you admire.
Yeah.
So look at those ones and be encouraged.
Yeah.
The wish of God for you is that you find a woman that you love and grow up with that woman. The wish is not for you to be discouraged because some people could not work out their differences. Please do not be discouraged by it at all. I mean, for your parents to have had all these differences and survived thus far, it tells you that you can even do better. Because you know the mistakes that they have been making and you will not repeat them. Let me also address the fact that if you are coming from a challenging home or growing up in a community where those things have happened, you have seen the negative aspect of it. So you are forewarned, you are prepared, and therefore you probably get into marriage better. Last 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago when I was on the set, Mommy commented on the fact that my children appear to be dada bars, even though I come from a broken home background. Because whatever I saw, I decided that I'm not going to let it happen to my children.
That's right.
And so I did my best to ensure that we have a stable home, warm environment, and a nice place for the children to grow up. So whatever negatives you have seen, please take it as a warning and work in the positives so that you would have a better marital home.
Well said.
Thank you.
Well, we learn from the mistakes of our parents. We try to do something better than they did.
Yeah.
So it is not an accident that you are seeing your parents the way you are seeing them. All you do is to learn. My husband came from a broken home. He saw his parents fight all the time, insult each other. I mean, people in the community will come and then separate them. But he purposed in his heart that if he got married, he wouldn't do what his parents did.
Yeah.
So you can also do the same thing. Purpose in your heart that for what you see your parents go through, you will never go through the same. Yeah. Number two, I belong to a church where a lot of these young people are coming from broken homes. But what they do is they look up to my husband and I. So if you belong to a church, look up to your pastor and his wife. Or I don't believe that everybody in your community is divorced or they are quarreling and fighting every day. I believe that you get one or two people in the community or in the church that can be a role model to you. So look at those whose marriages are working and go by it. And then as for your parents' one that is not working, learn out of it and tell yourself, when I get married, my marriage is going to be better.
So mommy, we have some teenagers who may be watching. We have some very young adults who are desperate to see a change in their parents' marriages. What can they do in such instances? Or there's nothing apart from learning the lessons?
As children, I believe that unfortunately, where the parents are fighting, it affects the children. It affects their confidence, such that they can't even go to mommy and say, Mommy, you are doing the wrong thing. They can't go to daddy and say, Daddy, you are doing the wrong thing. They are torn. You know, they become a third party, just watching. Where the children grow up in love, these are the bad children. They see mommy and daddy together. They can always walk up to mommy and say, Mommy, no. They can always walk up to daddy and say, Daddy, no.
That's right.
But where, right from, the time that they were born, they see mommy and daddy fighting. You dare not.
No.
You don't want daddy to feel that you're on mommy's side.
Exactly.
And you don't want daddy to also feel that you are on mommy's side. So the best you do is to keep quiet. Maybe what you do is you pray that God blesses you. When God blesses you, you are married and your marriage is working. Then I believe that in your adulthood, you can now sit them down and tell them, when I was growing up, this is what I saw about the two of you. And that's how much it affected me. I believe that if you do 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C, D, you can get a better marriage. I don't know.
Yes, maybe what you can do as a kid, a child.
And then also pray for them.
Exactly. Pray for them is very important. Yeah. Maybe if you develop friendship with one of the parties, if you're a girl and you develop friendship, close friendship with your mom, and instead of pointing out her mistakes, you ask her questions that draw her mind to the things that she's making a mistake. Because you have already built that friendship with her and have related to your mother by your behavior that you are, quote unquote, an adult. You are a thinking person. You can ask your mom questions.
But unfortunately, sometimes the women are so bitter. They are in the marriage, but they are bitter. Such that if you dare go and ask them any question about the marriage and what they are going through, most often,
they might hate
just few women would pour out their hearts and open up and tell you, I think I made a mistake. I think the marriage was an arranged one, so I never loved your father. Or, this and that is what your father is doing. That is why most often the women are so bitter. So bitter that you dare not. They pour their frustrations on their children. So their children are not confident enough to go to them and ask them questions.
And as for the men, they will be so egoistic.
No, ask for them. Ask for them. Ask for them. And sometimes the mothers also do not want the children to be a part of their pain. They think that, if I open up and tell my child what I'm going through, it could affect her getting married.
That's true.
She might. So sometimes
they hide the story from them.
Or even their relationship towards their father.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's best to just stay out.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go straight to the next one. I think this question relates to law. Let's see. Good evening, Mommy. Please, I'm confused. Does the law command a man to marry a lady he has impregnated? I have a friend who is taking care of his baby. And the lady's family is forcing him to marry the lady this year. However, he's schooling, and he says he is unable to do that. He's scared and wonders if he is going against any law.
I mean, I'm not aware of any law.
I'm also not aware. There's no law in our land that will force any man to get married to a woman he's impregnated. I mean, unless he also loves the lady, but he's not ready. If you love her and you are not ready, let her know that I'm not ready, I am in school, and when I'm done with school, we'll get married. Unless you have the support of your in-laws to be. But if you don't have the support, nobody is forcing you to go into it by all means. And nobody is also forcing you to marry her by all means. Listen carefully. No law, there's no law in our land. There's no courts that will say, marry, how do they, my children has a term for it, your baby mommy.
Yes, yes, baby mama.
Baby mama. There's no law that will force you to get married to your baby mama. If the relationship is cordial, you love her, that's fine. But if there's too much wahala in the relationship, too much fight, it's better for the child not to be a partaker of it than for you to get married to her and then the child becomes part of, the fight between you. So there's no law like that.
But I believe what the law might prescribe would be the aspect of being responsible and taking care of that child.
Certainly. And I want to admonish every man out there. You've had a baby with somebody. Please go back and be responsible over that child. You will never ever know the future of that child. So many men have made mistakes they've regretted. The children they didn't take care of today are what's the word?
Well-to-do.
They are well-to-do. They are doing so well. They have money. They could take care of their fathers, and yet they are not, because their fathers were never responsible and were not there for them. I always say that you never know who will take care of you tomorrow. Go and then be responsible over that child. If you don't have money, at least have a relationship with the child. Let the child know, I don't have money today. Tomorrow, if everything is okay, I will take good care of you.
All right. So we would appreciate you add some details to some of the questions when they come so we can have mommy sufficiently address them. So we have a question here.
So the lady's question. The lady was asking a question on behalf of a man.
Yes, a friend.
A friend.
From school, exactly.
What we don't know is whether the lady is going out with a gentleman.
Well, that's
It's
also
another
another
side
point.
of it.
Yeah.
It's possible
Yeah.
the lady is going out with a gentleman, yet the gentleman's
Baby
other
mama's
ladies'
family.
so tell the gentleman to make his mind clear. Is he going with you or he's going with the other lady? He shouldn't be doing two timing. He's with the other lady, he's with you. He comes telling you, it's you I want to go out with, it's you I love. Meanwhile, he goes to the other lady and also telling the lady, oh, don't worry, I love you, I've had a child with you, I will marry you, and playing in between the two of you. So you need to be careful.
Be careful you don't get a shock on someone's status.
Yeah. On somebody's status.
With save the date.
Hey.
All right, this one says, good evening, Mom. My husband hasn't been talking to me for the past 2 years.
Wow.
And we haven't had sex within this period. He stays outside most often. Last month, he called my mom to say he can't marry me again. What should I do? So, like a question like this, we don't know the genesis of this, but over to you, Mommy.
Reverend Patrick, 2 years.
Well,
the man hasn't been talking. They haven't been having sex. And then he comes and he says, I don't want the marriage anymore.
This is difficult to admonish that stay stuck. It's quite difficult. If you don't see the man, you have not seen him for the past 2 years.
2 years.
You've not, been intimate for the past 2 years. I do not know the laws of this country very well as far as marriage is concerned, but I think that I have heard it said that if you have not been together for
2 years,
at least 2 years, it's grounds.
Lawyer Vivian mentioned it.
Right.
You haven't been a husband and wife for 2 years.
Yes. If you've not been intimate for 2 years, then it's grounds for separating. And as you said, the gentleman is not in town. He lives elsewhere. And now he's not with you. 2 years, I don't know if holding on will serve any good purpose. As much as possible as a church, we do not recommend divorce. We do not say get divorced, no. But in this case, the man is quote unquote rejecting you. So if we insist that talk to him, the outcome may not be the very best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if for 2 years you couldn't pray to have him back, and after 2 years he says he doesn't want the relationship again, my darling, release him and move on with your life. Just pray that God, if it's mine, let him come back. We have seen it so many times where the man walked out of home, the lady continued to pray, the man went, sometimes got married to somebody, a first person, it didn't work, a second person, it didn't work, and came back to the original wife. So I believe that if you continue to pray, God will bring him back. But if he moves on, and you too, you find yourself falling in love with somebody else, please go ahead.
All right, this one says, good evening, Mom.
I think we can take a few questions more, maybe one or two more.
Yes, we can take 2 more questions. Good evening, Mom.
Good
My
evening.
sister has 3 kids with her husband, and the husband has 2 kids with another. The problem, however, is her father-in-law is the one taking care of the kids, including the other 2 children of the man. The husband doesn't work. His father has made several efforts to get him doing something. He starts and blows all the money out. He doesn't take care of my sister. She actually uses her money to buy food for herself, the family, and her husband. Recently, she complains he has started beating her up. Few days ago, he actually locked her in the room and beat her. He is always threatening my sister and reminds her that he loves the other lady more. Is this enough grounds to advise my sister to ask for a divorce? What should she do?
My darling, this is a red flag. If the man has started physically abusing your sister, number 2, verbally abuses her and tells her, I will divorce you, I will beat you up, I will kill you, is enough to run for your life. Please advise your sister to run for her life. And if you love your sister enough, please, tomorrow morning, go and pack her bag and baggage and take her out of that house. If the man changes, praise God, he can come back. But otherwise, if you don't do anything about it, it's going to be like the Oklahoma case in America.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know about that case, it's all over.
This pastor who threatened.
The man kept physically abusing the lady, and then now verbally threatening, I will kill you. At one point, the man beat the woman badly. The woman called the brother, and the brother came in. Right in the presence of her brother, the man was beaten.
Wow.
So the brother was so angry. You know what the man said? The man said, if I don't kill your sister, don't call me a man of God. I don't know which kind of man of God this is. And the brother wanted to report to the police. The sister said, don't do it. It is okay. I'll be fine. You know, until finally, the man shot the woman and killed her. So my darling, if your sister is going through something like that, most often they don't know how to help themselves.
Yeah.
They don't know how to come out of it. You need to deliver your sister quick and fast.
All right, we'll take the final one. So
and I'm sure there are still lots of questions.
there are still lots of questions.
Hey,
So on the last one you just mentioned, would we therefore be right to recommend to neighbors who consistently hear people getting abused in their homes to report to the police?
Yes. Lawyer Vivian said it a month ago when she was with me in the studio. My darling, when it comes to marriage, just like we say that one person has a child, but it's not one person that takes care of the child. The Bible says that let's be one another's keeper. In the neighborhood, if you hear the woman screaming all the time, don't sit in your quarters, don't sit in your room and be so comfortable and not do anything about it. If you think you can't go there and do anything, all you can do is to call the police. You can call the police and say, my next door neighbor, I hear the man beating the woman all the time. And if you don't do anything about it, you might come in and then pick up her corpse. So do something about it. So I am thinking that let's be one another's keeper in the community. These days, the togetherness in the community is not there anymore. I mean, when I was growing up, somebody's child was everybody's child.
Communal living.
Yes.
I mean, you can't go out of your house when your mom is not there with a short dress.
No.
Everybody was an auntie, everybody was an uncle. An auntie in the neighborhood will call you, where? No, mommy, when you were coming out, was your mom there? Did your mom see you? The next minute you see, the woman will walk you out. I mean, and they will beat you on top. And if you go and report to your mother will also beat you on top. These days, the children are walking anyhow in the neighborhood. Nobody's talking and everybody's minding their business and thinking about themselves. Please, let's be one another's keeper. And if you are in a neighborhood and somebody is seeing something you are not seeing, and the person decides to come and help, my darling, make yourself available. Stop being you are staying you are not talking. You are going to die.
You will home lies to Awudo. You will home lies
Tell
to Awudo.
them for me.
Be careful.
And my darling, I always tell people, nobody will take care of your children the way you will.
Yeah.
Please, nobody. As for food, they will get. Clothing, they will get. Education, they might get. But the emotional needs of your children, nobody can give it to them better. So if you are in a relationship and you are hurting in the relationship, things are not moving on in the relationship, my darling, seek help. Talk to somebody. Say, this is what I'm going through. My husband beats me every time. Hey.
Well.
The last question.
Yes, the last one. And
we're going to add something to this one.
No, that's it.
I've said enough.
Yes,
My darling, seek help.
Seek help.
And
Seek help.
I always tell people, whatever you are going through, you won't be the first. Neither would you be the last.
Yeah.
There are thousands of other women that are going through the same thing. Talk about it. I don't want to just say for the women. There are other men who are also going through stuff.
Yeah.
I know a man. The woman can wake up in the middle of the night, pour hot water.
Wow.
Use her shoe, beat him up. And the man was ashamed to talk about it.
No.
Was ashamed. My darling, don't be ashamed. Talk about it.
Talk about it, and that's what Family Life series is all about. creating an avenue for you to share your problems, your concerns, and have seasoned counselors led by Mama Rita herself to offer you solutions to help you build a happy and a very stable home. We'll take this final one, and Mommy, is a follow-up to the discussion on what children can do in divorced and troubled situations.
That's good.
This one says, God bless you, Mama Rita, for
bless
being
you
a
too.
blessing to us with Family Life series.
Thank you.
I actually have a concern regarding the discussion on divorce, focusing on the possibility of a couple reuniting after so many years of divorce. This is a very carefully written.
Yes.
My parents have been divorced for so many years, and my siblings and I have been living with our dad all this while. They both never remarried. In the beginning, our mother used to come over to the house to cook for us on our birthdays and holidays, like you've discussed in the past. And we will sit together, eat, just like the story you mentioned. Our dad encouraged this, and it went on for a while, and it looked beautiful at some point. Suddenly, she stopped coming over and turned very cold towards him. Looks like she started hearing stuff about him again. More so, things have not been going so well for her since she left the house, and it is getting her very frustrated. They were both bitter after separation, but it looks like our dad has forgiven, moved on, and is doing very well, and actually has expressed his willingness to receive her back home. He has asked us to tell her to come back and live with us. She is not willing, though my father is ready to do customary rites for her to come back. We have asked her, however, she has turned a deaf ear. My siblings and I have decided not to mind her, even though we have been praying and hoping she comes back. Is there any other thing we can do, Mommy? Kindly advise us.
Maybe you are all very comfortable with your father and appearing to be on the side of your father.
That's right.
And therefore making your mom feel like she's the quote-unquote bad one.
Yeah.
And
the problem one.
So I am sure she has her reasons, for feeling that way. So please take a step further. I mean, in your story, you indicated that mom comes around to cook for you on holidays and birthdays. Do any of you go visit mommy and show her love and tell her that she's also a very important person in the family and you want her back? And it's not just your father who wants her back. I think that if you add that step, a lot of times when people are bitter and you say, I am sorry, I have forgiven you, they don't feel the same way you are feeling, open-armed, ready to welcome them. They are still a little bit, have a few inhibitions. So please, take this extra step. Go spend the weekend with her maybe, and invite her over to spend the weekend, the following weekend, And I'm sure as you take these steps, you will gradually help her to warm up into feeling comfortable in that family setting one more time. And mind you, when you go back, don't tell her stories about some of the challenges that you have had in her absence. Tell her things that will make her feel like wanted, needed to be part of the family. And then I'm sure she will come back. Mommy may add something.
I think you've answered it. And I believe that you are only listening to your father. And all you hear your father say is that he wants your mom back. Maybe there's something your mom wants to see. There's a change your mom wants to see about your father that she's not seeing. Please make a date with your mom. If next Mother's Day is too long, maybe Christmas, you can decide to visit her. Since she used to come, she used to cook for you, and she stopped. Make a date with her this Christmas. Spend time with her. Ask her questions and let her know that you want mommy and daddy back. You want them back. Is there anything you need to know that she's not talking about? Is there something she wants daddy to do that daddy is not doing? Let her know that you also on her side, you love her. It's not like you prefer daddy to her. You also love her. And you really, really want the two of them back. I believe that if you sit with her, listen to her side of the story, and find out what she wants that she's not getting, I believe she would open up and then they would come together. Just a month ago, Reverend Patrick, just a month ago, one of our members from New York came down. Guess why she came down? She came down because her mother was getting married. Who is her mom getting married to? To her father. Wow. They broke up for 25 years.
Wow.
25 years. My darling, when we say things here, we say it because we have seen it, we have heard it. This one, I know them. After the wedding, her mom has started coming to Royal House Chapel. Wow. They broke up for 25 years. The lady had to fly all the way from New York, COVID time, to come to her parents' wedding. So I believe there's something that you people are not doing. Maybe mommy feels that you're on the side of daddy. But if you let mommy feel that you also love her, and you listen to her, and you listen to her side of the story, I believe that you can put mommy and daddy together. Don't get tired yet. You can bring them together. You can bring them together by listening to both of them. You can bring them together through the marriages. I've seen it also before, where parents came together based on the marriages of their children. Okay. When their children were getting married, they came together and planned. Okay. They were there for their traditional marriage. They were there for the wedding. Oh, by the time they realized, they were also together and they were getting married. I believe there's so much children can also do to bring their parents together. I have seen it happen so many times, and you can also do it. Invite mommy over lunch. Invite mommy over dinner. Christmas, go, all of you, and spend the day with her. Let her talk and come out with what is worrying her. I believe that you'll be able to put them together one more time. God bless you. It's been nice. Another Wednesday. Oh, it was so good with Reverend Patrick.
Thank you.
Reverend Patrick, thank you so much for coming week after week when you are invited. I'm going to come your way again, same time next week. I don't know what we'll be doing for now. I'm going to look at the questions left. If there are lots, we will do another Ask Mama Rita. There's something I want to do for Christmas. I wanted to start next week, but I'll look at the questions because I don't want the questions to come into Christmas. So if the questions are a lot, we will do another Ask Mama Rita. If not, next week, I'll go into Christmas celebrations and how we can celebrate Christmas as a family. Love you. See you on Saturday, IG with Mama Rita, and then same time, same day next week. Please take good care of yourself. Wear your masks. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizers, and make sure that there's social distancing. God bless you. Stay healthy and live a peaceful life.